There are moments in life when it feels like everything you have given has disappeared into the wind. You've sown kindness and received betrayal. You've worked hard, but the reward never came. You've prayed, fasted, believed, and still it seems like the heavens were silent. But listen to me, God was never blind to your tears. God was never deaf to your prayers. God was never absent from your struggle. Every sacrifice you made in faith, every injustice you endured in silence, every season you walked through when you had nothing but trust in your heart, it was not forgotten. God is about to pay you back with interest. You may think you've lost years. You may believe the opportunities are gone, but what you see as loss, God sees as preparation. What you call delay, God calls divine timing. God never forgets the one who remains faithful in the dark. And when God begins to move, He doesn't restore you to where you were, He multiplies. He adds interest to your pain. He turns your endurance into elevation. He takes what the world thought was destroyed and resurrects it stronger than before. When God repays, He does not pay equally. He pays abundantly. There's a spiritual law in the unseen world. Nothing you do for God ever dies. Every act of faith, every prayer whispered when your heart was breaking, every night you went to bed crying but refused to give up, they are all stored in the account of heaven. And now, God is about to settle that account. The time of divine repayment has come. God is saying, I have seen what was taken from you, and I will return it pressed down, shaken together, and running over. What you sowed in tears, you are about to reap in joy. Not just the joy, but overflowing joy with the divine interest. You must understand that when you lose something in life, God does not measure repayment by human standards. If people took advantage of you, if you were rejected, if you were betrayed, don't focus on the people. Don't chase what left. Don't mourn what was taken. Because God does not settle accounts through people. God Himself becomes your source. When He says He will pay you back, He means He will compensate you in ways no man could ever do. He will open doors no one can shut. He will place favor on your name that no opposition can remove. He will command the blessings to locate you because your account in heaven is due for divine release. There were seasons when you gave when it hurt to give. You believed when it was hard to believe. You held on when everything in you wanted to let go. And now God is saying, the interest on your faith has matured. What looked like delay was God's way of adding interest to your reward. Every year you thought you were forgotten. Every time you felt unseen, that was the interest period. God was calculating the multiplication. Now, suddenly, in a moment you cannot predict, He will release it all at once. You will look back and understand why the wait was so long. Because God wasn't preparing the blessing, He was preparing you to receive it. There are people who will see you rise and wonder how you got there. They will think it happened overnight. But you will know this is not luck. This is not coincidence. This is a divine payback. God has been watching, measuring, calculating every disappointment, every closed door, every false accusation, every delay. It was all added to your spiritual balance. And now the account of your endurance is full. God is about to release His payment with interest so overwhelming that you will not even remember the pain of the past. When God repays, He does not simply give back what you lost. He gives back, multiply the peace for your pain, multiply the strength for your struggle, multiply the joy for your sorrow. What was meant to break you becomes the reason you rise. God's repayment doesn't come through material gain alone. It comes through restoration of your dignity, your confidence, your purpose. He renews your name, your reputation, your soul. He gives you back what money cannot buy: peace of mind, divine favor, and unstoppable grace. There was a time in your life when you cried in private and no one saw, but God saw. And now He's about to make you smile in public and everyone will see. The very places where you were humiliated will become the places of your elevation. The same people who mocked you will witness your rise. The same environment that drained you will be the ground where you flourish. God is about to display His justice by rewarding you openly for what you endured silently. You didn't curse. You didn't retaliate. You didn't quit. You kept walking with the faith, and for that, God is about to pay you back with the interest that only heaven could calculate. Some of you are looking at your life and thinking, too much time has passed. I'm too old. I missed my chance. But do you not know that God restores time? When He repays, He gives you not just what you lost, but what you could have gained in the time you waited. God can restore 20 years in one moment. He can multiply what you receive so that the years of pain disappear in the flood of blessings. He can accelerate your destiny so fast that those who left you behind will not be able to keep up. The time you thought was wasted was not wasted. It was investment time. God was adding interest to your future. You may not see it now, but every time you chose forgiveness instead of revenge, every time you showed love instead of bitterness, every time you gave, even when you had little, you deposited faith in the spiritual bank of God. And that account never fails. God is the most faithful accountant. He does not forget one act of obedience. He does not ignore one sacrifice. He does not overlook one moment of patience. When the time is right, He releases it all with interest that will shock even you. You will look around and wonder, how did this happen so suddenly? But it will not be sudden to God. It will be the exact time He appointed. Many times God allows people to walk away from your life because He's preparing your repayment. He removes those who cannot handle your reward. He closes doors that cannot contain your destiny. You cry when things leave, but if you saw what He was bringing, you would rejoice. You're not being punished, you're being positioned. You're not being forgotten, you're being prepared for divine compensation. God cannot multiply what you are still clinging to. When you release what hurt you, God releases what will heal you. And when that release comes, it will come with interest. The pain you've been through was not wasted. It became the seed for your next season. God saw how you kept your heart pure when it could have turned bitter. He saw how you continued to give even when you lacked. He saw how you continued to serve when you were tired. And now He says, enough. The time has come. What you planted in faith, you will harvest in abundance. What was lost will be found not as it was, but better, greater, stronger. You will stand and testify that God did not just repay, He overpaid. Think about this. When you deposit the money in a bank, you expect interest. You don't doubt it. You know it will grow. The same is true for faith. Every prayer, every act of obedience, every tear, they are divine deposits. And the longer they stay unseen, the more they grow. The greater the silence, the greater the interest. That's why God often seems slow. He's not slow. He's multiplying the interest. He's making sure that when the blessing arrives, it is more than what you asked for. You thought you were forgotten, but you were being invested in. There is no debt that God leaves unpaid. Every injustice will be answered. Every wound will be healed. Every loss will be replaced with a double gain. The hands that hurt you will not have the final word. God will. The situation that crushed you will not define you. God will. When God pays back, He doesn't ask permission. He doesn't seek approval. He simply declares, it's time. And when He moves, no force can stop it. The same power that raised the morning sun will raise your destiny from the ashes. The same voice that created the universe will speak restoration into your life. What once was broken will shine again, and it will shine brighter because of what it went through. So do not be discouraged when it seems like your life has been unfair. Unfair seasons are the soil of divine interest. God allows pain not to punish, but to promote. He allows delays not to deny, but to multiply. Every injustice becomes a reason for Him to bless you more. Every tear becomes a seed for joy. Every failure becomes a foundation for future success. The longer the struggle, the higher the interest. That's why you can't compare your timeline with others. You're not on their schedule. Your return is bigger. Your reward is heavier. Your destiny is divine. God is about to release what was stored up for years. And when it comes, it will come suddenly. You won't need to chase it. You won't need to beg for it. God will command the blessings to locate you. Opportunities will come to you. People will favor you without explanation. Resources will appear without effort. That is the nature of divine interest. It's supernatural. It doesn't make sense to the natural mind. You will say, I didn't even ask for this. And God will say, this is interest. You will realize that everything you lost was a setup for everything you were meant to gain. What was withheld from you was never meant to break you. It was meant to increase the value of your testimony. Some of you will experience restoration so fast that it will confuse those who counted you out. They will look and say, how did you recover? And your answer will be, God paid me back. You will find yourself in places you never imagined. The job that rejected you will be replaced by a better one. The relationship that broke you will be replaced by peace beyond understanding. The door that closed will be replaced by a gate that never shuts. Because when God repays, He does not just return what was lost. He upgrades it. The new season will make the old pain meaningless. You may feel tired right now, as if your faith is barely holding, but hold on a little longer. You are closer to your divine payback than you realize. God's timing is never random. The moment you feel like giving up is often the moment before release. The pressure you feel is the sign of a breakthrough. The opposition you face is proof that your blessing is near. God is about to turn your endurance into evidence. You will not only be restored, you will become a testimony of how God rewards those who trust Him even when they cannot trace Him. There are angels right now arranging divine appointments, unseen opportunities, and supernatural shifts on your behalf. You may not see them, but they are working. You may not hear anything, but heaven is busy. The silence of God is not the absence of God, it's the preparation of repayment. The account is ready, the interest is added, and when God releases it, no one will stop it. What's about to come will be so great that you will forget the pain of the process. You will say, it was worth it. Every tear was worth it. Every lonely night was worth it. Every delay was divine. And remember, when God blesses you, it is not just for you. It's for those who doubted, those who gave up, those who lost hope. Your restoration will remind others that God never forgets His faithful ones. Your overflow will feed the hungry. Your success will inspire the weary. Your peace will comfort the broken. You are the evidence that God's repayment system never fails. You are the proof that what is lost in faith is never lost forever. There is a reason. God tells you to wait. Waiting is not punishment. It is preparation for multiplied blessings. When you are waiting, you are not standing still. You are being refined, strengthened, matured, and made ready to handle what is coming. If God gave you everything you asked for when you first asked, you would not be ready to hold it. God delays not because He is slow, but because He is thorough. He builds your capacity so that when the blessing comes, you do not break under its weight. The delay is the interest period of your destiny. It is when your future value increases. When the heavens seem silent, that is when God is increasing your return. He is preparing a reward not just to match your patience, but to multiply it beyond your imagination. God has a way of balancing every equation of your life. What looked like loss is about to turn into your greatest gain. When others walked away from you, when opportunities closed, when your heart broke into 1,000 pieces, it was not the end, it was the recalibration. God was setting you up for something greater. When you lose what you thought you could not live without, that is when God proves He is your true source. You cannot be paid back by God and still depend on man. That is why He removes the crutches before He releases the compensation. He wants you to know, without any doubt, that your payback came from His hand alone. The same God who allowed the loss will be the one to orchestrate the overflow. You see, God does not just restore what was stolen. He teaches you through it. The lessons you gained in your dark seasons are the treasures of your soul. The pain made you wiser. The rejection made you stronger. The disappointment purified your faith. You didn't just survive. You evolved. And now God can trust you with what others lost because of their pride. That is divine repayment. It's not only about receiving, it's about becoming. You are not the same person who went through the fire. You are purified, focused, unshakable. The more you suffered in silence, the more God molded you in secret. Now He will reveal you in light, and no one will understand the weight of your journey. They will see the crown, but never comprehend the cross you carried to get there. When God begins to pay you back, it will not come through one stream. It will come from every direction: favor from unexpected people, open doors from closed places, healing in areas you forgot were broken, peace where there used to be anxiety. God's payback is multi-dimensional. You may be asking for one thing, but God will restore 10. You may expect a single opportunity, but God will overflow your life with many. When He rewards, He does not give in small portions. He releases abundance. You waited long because your blessing is large. You endured deeply because your reward is heavy. You held on tightly because your miracle requires strong hands. God was building your strength to handle your success. Sometimes God allows you to be stripped down to nothing because He wants to rebuild you with eternal foundations. When everything familiar is gone, when people leave, when finances dry up, when hope feels faint, that is when you encounter the God who provides from invisible realms. You thought you lost everything, but you were actually being freed. Freed from dependence on people, freed from false expectations, freed from attachments that could not carry your destiny. When God pays back, He does not restore the old structure. He builds a new one. He creates fresh beginnings, unshakable blessings, and the peace that cannot be stolen. Do not be surprised if your next season looks nothing like your past. God does not repeat. He renews. What's ahead will not be a copy of what was. It will be greater, purer, more aligned with your purpose. When divine interest is released, you walk into opportunities that were never part of your plan. You receive blessings that have no logical explanation. People will ask, how did this happen? And all you will be able to say is, God remembered me. That is the moment when time bends, when the years that seemed wasted suddenly bear fruit. The barren fields begin to bloom. The broken roads become highways of favor, and the waiting becomes worth every second. You must believe that God has been watching your every effort. Nothing escapes His eyes. The silent sacrifices, the unseen prayers, the good you did that no one acknowledged, that God recorded all of it. The universe itself aligns when it is time for divine repayment. What belongs to you will find you. What is yours cannot stay hidden forever. You may have been forgotten by people, but you were engraved on the heart of God. When He remembers, He does not send the partial blessings. He sends the full inheritance. The same world that ignored you will witness your restoration. Be careful not to grow bitter during the wait. Bitterness blocks blessings. Anger delays acceleration. The longer you remain angry about what happened, the longer you postpone your repayment. Forgive quickly. Let go of the past so that your hands are free to receive the future. Do not chase revenge. Let God balance the scales. He is a just God. He sees everything you endured, and He will repay in a way that humbles your enemies without you lifting a finger. When you stay quiet, God fights loudly. When you surrender, God acts swiftly. Your silence will speak louder than your defense, because God's justice will make the truth shine like the morning sun. You are not forgotten. You are being calculated for reward. You are not delayed. You are being positioned for overflow. You are not losing. You are being refined for expansion. The things that left to your life were never meant to stay. The people who turned their backs were never your source. The doors that closed were never your destiny. God shut them because He saw what you couldn't see. He saw the interest building, the greater plan unfolding. When your eyes are fixed on Him, nothing that leaves can stop what is coming. There will come a moment when you wake up and realize that everything suddenly shifted. The heaviness will lift, the confusion will clear, the opportunities will flow. It won't make sense, but it will make peace. You'll know deep within your soul that God has turned your story around. The same tears that fell in pain will fall in gratitude. The same heart that once broke will overflow with peace. This is not fantasy, it's divine reality. God's repayment is not just external. It transforms your entire atmosphere. You will walk into rooms and feel the favor following you. You will speak and your words will carry power because your struggle refined your authority. God's payback is not just about blessing, it's about purpose. He restores so you can inspire others. He blesses so you can bless others. You become a vessel of proof that faith is never wasted. When people see your rise, they will believe in His timing. When they see your peace, they will understand His process. Your life becomes a testimony that patience in God is not in vain. Every delay has purpose. Every tear has meaning. Every loss carries hidden compensation. What was painful yesterday will become power tomorrow. You are entering a season where what you prayed for will chase you. You will not have to strive. The blessings will arrive at your doorstep. You will not have to beg. The opportunities will seek your name. You will not have to explain. Your results will speak for you. That is how God works when He repays with interest. The overflow will silence every critic, heal every wound, and restore every broken part of your soul. You will know that you never wasted your faith. The same hands that carried your pain will now carry your promise. God is not limited by time, resources, or logic. What you think is impossible, He can make inevitable. When God decides to bless you, no delay, no betrayal, no circumstance can stop it. He does not need to consult anyone about your future. When He says now, everything changes. The waiting years collapse into moments of glory. The pain is swallowed by the power of His goodness. The interest on your suffering becomes the currency of your restoration. You are about to receive what you could never have earned on your own. This is why you must not despise your process. The very situations that broke you were building your blessing. Every storm was watering your seed. Every delay was storing your reward. The longer the night, the brighter the dawn. The deeper the pain, the greater the payback. And when it comes, it will not be subtle, it will be undeniable. People will look at your life and see that only God could have done it. When God begins to move in your life, He does not announce it with noise. He begins in silence, shifting the unseen, rearranging situations, and preparing hearts before the manifestation appears. While you think nothing is happening, God is working behind the curtains of the visible world. He is speaking into the invisible, commanding things to align in your favor. Every delay, every detour, every disappointment you have faced was part of His calculation for a greater repayment. You are not walking through randomness, you are walking through refinement. The hand of God has been upon you, even in the seasons that seemed void of His presence. The repayment God is preparing for you is not just the restoration of what you lost. It is an upgrade of who you are. God never returns something the same way it left your life. When He restores, He renews. When He repays, He perfects. The value of what comes back into your life will surpass what was taken. That's why you must stop looking backward, longing for what was. The past cannot contain the new measure of blessing God is about to pour into your life. The doors that once closed cannot handle the glory that now follows you. You are being elevated beyond your former season. Many of you have felt that life has treated you unfairly. You have given your all, yet you were betrayed. You were loyal, yet you were overlooked. You were kind, yet you were used. But remember, God measures differently than people. What they call loss, He calls investment. What they call rejection, He calls direction. Those who mistreated you unknowingly became instruments of your transformation. They pushed you into prayer. They drove you closer to God. They stripped you of dependency on people so that you could learn dependency on the divine. Now, the same pain that wounded you will become the platform that reveals your purpose. God is about to turn the very things that were meant to destroy you into the foundation of your destiny. Sometimes God allows injustice to train your heart for justice. He lets you taste the lack so that when abundance comes, you know how to handle it with humility. He lets you experience betrayal so that you can discern the value of a truth. He allows you to face rejection so that when acceptance comes, you do not make an idol out of a people's approval. The pain of your past was the tuition for your wisdom. God used it to teach you lessons that comfort cannot teach. And now that you have graduated from that season, He will honor your endurance with divine promotion. The interest on your tears has matured, and the payout is near. Understand this. God never forgets a heart that stayed faithful when faith made no sense. He never forgets those who continued to give when they had nothing left. He never forgets the ones who kept serving quietly when no one saw their effort. Every unseen act of goodness, every silent sacrifice, every hidden prayer has been collected by the hand of God. He is the master of timing and the keeper of accounts. When He pays back, it is always at the perfect moment, not too early, not too late, but right when it magnifies His glory through your life. Do not envy those who seem to be ahead of you. Do not compare your journey to theirs. Some people receive early blessings because their assignment is small. But those who are chosen for greater things often walk through longer seasons of testing. The deeper the foundation, the higher the building. The longer the preparation, the greater the manifestation. While others celebrated their small harvests, God was adding compound interest to your faith. When He releases it, the overflow will cover the years of silence, the moments of struggle, and the nights of tears. You are not just going to recover, you are going to rule. You are not just going to survive, you are going to soar. You are not just going to get back what you lost, you will become a walking example of divine restoration. The people who once pitied you will be amazed at your transformation. They will see the peace in your eyes, the favor in your path, and the power in your presence. And they will know only God could have done this. You will not need to explain anything because your life itself will be the testimony. There is a sacred reason why God allowed the wilderness. He needed to separate you from noise so that you could hear His whisper. In the quiet, He was shaping your inner strength. In the isolation, He was refining your identity. You thought you were forgotten, but you were being formed. You thought you were abandoned, but you were being anchored. The loneliness was not punishment, it was preparation for leadership. God hides His chosen ones before He reveals them, because exposure without maturity destroys destiny. But now your time of hiding is coming to an end. The same God who kept you in the shadows is now calling you into the light. And when the light comes, it will not be dim. God does not restore halfway. His blessings come in completeness. He will not repay you only for the years you cried. He will reward you for how you handled the crying. You didn't curse Him when things fell apart. You didn't give up when it seemed hopeless. You didn't stop believing when everything went silent. You may have doubted, but you didn't quit. That perseverance is now the reason heaven's door is opening. The scale is tipping in your favor. The divine ledger is being balanced. You must prepare your spirit for overflow. When God decides to repay, blessings come fast. They come suddenly. They come from places you never looked. What was denied for years will appear in days. You will not need to chase opportunities. Opportunities will chase you. You will not need to strive for recognition. Favor will announce your name in rooms you've never entered. The favor of God cannot be blocked by human opinion. It transcends the systems, breaks protocols, and bypasses human logic. When God releases interest, it multiplies beyond the natural. But remember this, divine payback is not only material, it's emotional, mental, and spiritual. God will give you back your peace. He will give you back your confidence. He will give you back your sleep at night. He will give you back your strength to dream again. You will wake up feeling light because the heaviness that once followed you will be gone. You will walk into situations that used to intimidate you, and instead of fear, you'll feel power. That's what happens when God restores. He renews you from within. You will not just look different, you will feel different. The truth is, your struggle was never about loss, it was about inheritance. God was training you to handle what others could not. That's why He allowed certain battles that seemed unnecessary. They were building your endurance. They were cultivating your wisdom. They were teaching you to discern between temporary blessings and eternal rewards. You see, some people receive small victories because that's all they can carry. But you, God, has trusted you with something much larger. That's why the road was rougher. That's why the wait was longer. That's why the pain was deeper. But now the wait is over. There will be a divine acceleration in your life. What took others 10 years to achieve, you will achieve in one. What seemed impossible will become effortless. What you once struggled for will come naturally. That is how God compensates His faithful ones. He redeems time. He compresses what was lost into a moment of glory. The blessings that should have come gradually will pour in all at once. You will not be able to count them. You will simply stand in awe of God's mercy. But let me remind you, when the blessings come, remain humble. Do not forget the silence that shaped you, the night that taught you how to pray, the tears that softened your heart. God blesses those who stay grounded in gratitude. Your reward will be sustained only by humility. The same God who gave can take away if the gift replaces the giver. So, when you rise, remember who lifted you. When you prosper, remember who provided. When you shine, remember who shaped your light. The purpose of your reward is to glorify the one who gave it. Do not fear what lies ahead. You are entering a divine shift. Everything around you will begin to align resources, people, timing, and opportunities. What you once had to chase will now flow to you effortlessly. You will sense divine order replacing chaos. The confusion will clear. The burdens will lift. The way forward will open. And you will know deep in your soul that God's repayment has begun. The same voice that carried you through storms will now command blessings to locate you. The season of struggle has fulfilled its purpose. The season of overflow has arrived. your story is about to change its tone. You will move from how long to it is done, from why me, to thank you God, from I don't see a way, to the way has been made. You will look back and realize that the pain was part of the preparation, that the waiting was part of the reward. You